Welcome back to another episode of Tactical Pineapple Live. Holy shit, we're on time. I believe the audio is working. Everybody can tell me whether or not the audio is working once we get into this thing a little bit. But I'm hoping everybody's liking the stream a little bit better without all the busyness going on. So tonight we are going to be flying solo, but that doesn't mean a whole lot. We're actually going to have some fun tonight, I think. We're going to try a little bit of a different format when we run solo. If everybody likes it, we're going to probably try to keep one of these a month maybe. Dial back the guests a little bit. Just to give everybody a little bit of break, a little bit of something else to do. Operator Tony says, yeah, audio is good. Perfect. I'm glad everybody likes it. Carcane says, I'm going to assume that you're aware of what pineapple represents. 420, blaze it. Carcane, 420 represents a lot of things. But yeah, I am aware of what pineapple represents in that sense as well. I can't call myself Tactical Pineapple if I am not well versed in the pineapple. So I think we're wearing down Scott from Kentucky Ballistics. The weather that we sent his way is starting to wear him thin a little bit, so he thought this war was going to be fair. It's not. Totally joking. To everybody who is in the South experiencing weather that is not of your norm, I know we all make fun of you and say, you know what, you guys are just a bunch of pansies because it's not really that bad. We deal with a lot worse, but we have the infrastructure to handle it. They don't. So if you're not familiar with what's going on down in Texas, you can find it just about anywhere. It's completely iced over. If you have any way to help send water, it seems to be the one thing everybody's missing down there. Other than just electricity, they are running through a water shortage right now. So consider heading to Costco and getting yourself into something to help them out a little bit. Every little bit helps. We are all in this together. This shit is definitely going to be fun. Yeah, they need water and heat. Tony, we can send water. If you can bottle heat and send it, let's do it. Until somebody figures out a way to bottle up heat and send it, I think we're screwed on that end. So they just need to get their electricity back. They need to get things taken care of. It sounds like things are getting a little bit better down there, a little bit more cleared up, but they're still dealing with the aftermaths of 4 to 6 inches of ice. And I mean, that puts us on our ass up here in the Midwest. So, Texas is going through some shit when they don't even own shovels down there. So to everybody's down there, please be safe. To everybody who's not down there, let's still make fun of them, but just remember that it's, it is a shit show for them to be going through this. So I will do a real quick rundown of the chat. So Carcane says first, ? Yeah, I put this up, I think, at like 9 o'clock this morning. Dr. Catmilk was the first one. Operator Tony came back second. But Carcane, you are first amongst the normal people who show up to the stream. So, you made it at a normal time, which isn't too far away from the stream to where it doesn't even show up anymore. But so Operator Tony in here as well. Obviously, Carcane. Looks like that's all that's chatting with us right now, but it's okay. We're going to have some fun tonight. So I want to try to do something a little bit different. And one of the things that I've been looking at, obviously, in 2021, everybody's looking at new jobs, what's available out there, this and that. And some stuff that I've come across has made me cringe quite heavily. It's kind of sad to think about where we're at in 2021, state of affairs. If this is the stuff that people are literally teaching new hires, some of the things that we're going to go through tonight, if you're not familiar with it, there is a whole new spiel being pitched to new hires in certain industries. I'm sure it's going to come to many other industries about nonviolent and inclusive language. Basically, a whole bunch of things that they don't want you to say because they're trigger words, which in and of itself is a trigger word. So, interestingly enough, I will do just a couple little updates to this show, to the stream, to what I'm planning on doing here over the next couple weeks. Next week we do have a guest again. Mickey from Carry Trainer is supposed to be here. I do have to confirm that one more time with his recent travels and all that stuff, but I would assume everything's going to be good from there. The month of March, I don't really have anything booked yet solid. I do have a couple guests lined up. Nobody's confirmed anything as far as that goes. So I will be trying to keep a couple things open, or a couple weeks open. I was planning like this was going to be a community night to have a couple individuals from the community who like to get on these live streams. I asked a couple people. Nobody was really interested this week, but it was okay because I wanted to try this new format. If you guys like this kind of thing, kind of reacting to it, talking about it, breaking it down a little bit, we may do this a little more often. It's fun for me, and a super major guest as a solid maybe. Yeah, Tony's got a super major guest as a solid maybe. Tony's doing all the legwork on that, so he can talk about it in the chat if he wants. I'm not going to name drop anybody or anything like that, unless they're confirmed 100%. But anyways, Carcane says in the chat, economy is effed now, but just wait until the crazy inflation hits. I don't think we're going to have to worry about crazy inflation so much. If you know a lot about stocks or if you follow anything, I would definitely recommend looking up the statistical average for the P and E, P divided by E, which is profit divided by earnings, or estimate. I don't remember. It's the P and E value. Statistically, in America, it's about 17% during normal times, and that's when they say that everything is pretty much valued at what the company's actually valuation is. If it's higher than that, the market is banking on futures, so essentially everything lives in a bubble when you're banking on futures. So part of the problem with it is, for more than 12 years, we've kept interest rates relatively low on homes. The longer you keep interest rates low on homes, the higher the prices of homes are going to go. So if you're looking at a home at 3% interest, let's just say a $500,000 home at 3% interest is going to be about a $2,100 to $2,800 payment, depending on certain things. I think it's $2,100. It's like $2,108 off the top of the head. But there's other people who've done this better than I. But 3% interest on a $500,000 home, it's like a $2,108 interest rate or $2,108 payment. And if you go up to 6% interest rate to get that same $2,108 payment, you're looking at like a $374,000 home, and then 9% interest. It's a $235,000 home to keep that same payment. So the reason home values creep with that is obvious, right? So you have a $100,000 a year job, or you and your wife together have a $100,000 a year income, and you're fixed on what you can pay. So there aren't a whole lot of people out there who can afford to pay $5,000 on a mortgage every month. Yeah, so Tony said he's in the process right now. He's got a $175,000 home loan, which equals $1,048 a month at 2.85% interest. Great interest rate, especially if it's fixed. Hopefully it's fixed, because I have a feeling interest rates have to go up very soon, or bubbles are going to start breaking. So the value of home, the values of real estate right now are at the second highest they've ever been in United States history. And they are higher than they were before the first real estate crash. Not quite as high as the home boom crash of 2010, but very soon I have a feeling very soon we're going to see a crash. So the housing bubble is going to burst, and Warren Buffett said very famously, when people are greedy, be conservative, and when people are conservative, be greedy. Right now, everybody's greedy, so it's time to start playing it smart. So everybody's out here. You got these guys, the GME stock thing, all that stuff with Robinhood. Everybody's trying to be greedy and make as much money as they can right now, which leads to a lot of fake millionaires. So all the people that are driving around in Bugattis and cars and shit that they can't afford, Once all their money goes away, very soon with the market crashes, things are going to be different. So Carcane says, how about how much money the government has printed in the last year? That makes me nervous. Yeah, it makes me nervous too. The government in the last, and it's estimated right now anywhere between 18 and 40%. They've admitted 20% of all money that's in circulation in the United States was printed in 2020. So that is a nerve-wracking statistic to think about, and it's one that we really have to be careful how we go through with. So Chamber of Defense popping in. Hey, Chamber of Defense, I know I actually got questions for you. We're going to cover something tonight. I imagine based on where I've seen it rolled out so far that you guys have something similar about it. But we're gonna actually get into here very shortly. Inclusive and nonviolent language. I'm sure it's something you're familiar with. He's leaving the range, headed to the hospital for another fun night. Well, that sounds like you're leaving the shit show to go to the shit show. So, good luck with that. Hope everything works out. I do want your opinion on what we're talking about tonight. If you have anything to add on it, anybody, anything we talk about, I always welcome a little bit of feedback. And definitely, if it's something you guys don't like, something we're not doing right on the stream, or something you think we want to change, let me know. We'll get something changed about, or we'll do something about it. Henceforth, you can see the new background, the whole Tactical Pineapple Live rebranded, everything. I think we settled on that name last week. You can do pretty much anything you want with a stream layout, as I was doing with video, but sometimes just because you can do it doesn't mean you should do it. And I've listened to people who knew better and said, get rid of that shit. Cleaned it up a little bit. I think everybody will be a little bit happier with it. A little easier on the eyes, a little less distracting. If you're not already following me on social medias, head on over on the Instagram, The Real Tactical Pineapple, and then the Parler account. Parler's back. If anybody's not aware of it already, Parler is back. You can follow me over there at Tactical Pineapple. Just because I don't know how long YouTube is going to be around. We've got a lot of shit coming down that we don't know how long it's going to be around, but I'm going to keep doing this regardless of whether YouTube's here. So I'm going to be looking this week at things like BitChute, Rumble, all this other stuff. But obviously that's not top priority for me right now. Top priority is producing something that you guys want to actually watch. And I'm hoping I'm doing that. So without too much further ado, I'm going to actually jump over to this topic that I wanted to discuss a little bit, and we'll get into it a little bit. And I definitely welcome any feedback on it. So this screen share that I've got here is actually a snippet of a policy that was given to me. Operator Tony says, go to Twitch. Yeah, just chatting sounds fantastic. Let's go to an Amazon platform. That's not going to be much better than YouTube, guys. I know they don't have the reach on the other platforms, but the fact is Amazon is what killed Parler. Amazon owns Twitch. Amazon will kill you if you are conservative, and that's not going to go easy either. I don't necessarily think there's really any safe place for content creators who have a willingness to just say whatever the fuck they want to say. But what are you going to do? You sleep with the dog at night, and if it bites you in the middle of the night, you're going to have to deal with it. That's why I lock my dog in a kennel. I know my balls are going to be safe from him just deciding to go the other way. So, yeah, without further ado, nonviolent and inclusive language. So, just to provide a little bit of a background here, this is, like I said, this is not, apparently I'm going to mess with our overlay. It's not a whole new thing, but it's very much changed. So, there, like this is a company policy. I'm not going to name the company or anything like that, but it literally says, while our goal is not to provide a list of inappropriate or appropriate phrases, we understand that this is a new concept for many, and some staff may ask for alternatives to common phrases. So this facility / employer decided that they're going to change some things. So phraseologies that you can and can't use. Absolutely ridiculous. We'll open a website later and kind of go through. I mean, this is an ever-growing thing, and they're adding lots and lots of stuff to this. And from what I can understand, even or what I can tell, is there's actually possibly legislation coming down the pipe in the United States that will make some of this legal, essentially. Binding contracts, shit like that with the employer. They can do whatever they want to do, really. Wisconsin specifically, most states, I believe, are employment at will contracts. So you have a right to leave at any time. Your employer has a right to let you go at any time for any reason. So assuming you can't prove that it's some form of discrimination, they can get rid of you. So a couple of these common phrases, and when I read through these the first time, I laughed my ass off. So I'm probably not going to do it this time, but I'm hoping you guys get a good kick out of this. So instead of saying the word bullet point, because, bullets are bad, you should now call it a dot point, because I've always heard people talk to them about dot points. Give it a shot is no longer acceptable, folks. Give it a shot. Should now be give it a try. And also, while we're getting rid of give it a shot, let's get rid of take a stab at it as well. Absolutely ridiculous. I do have a question, though. Over here on the right-hand side, traffic was murder. I have never honestly heard this phrase used anywhere. Traffic was murder. But just so you know, you should say traffic was a mess. If anybody's ever used the term traffic was murder, let me know, because I have never seen it anywhere. Carcane in the chat says, they always assume the worst iteration of a word. If it can be offensive, then it must be offensive. Example, retarded, execute, etc. 100%. I went through a whole long list. Mario, fuck all that. I say what I want. I get it. I get it. I say what I want to. Yeah, you can't even say guys. The wife says in the chat, you can't even say guys, so be careful. Yeah, you don't want to trigger anybody. Like I said, yeah, traffic was terrible. The ridiculous part of this is in some of the phraseology of these policies that I found online, and this isn't the worst of them. So how should you say fuck off and kiss my ass? I believe you just say fuck off and kiss my ass. I don't really... maybe the proper term that's nonviolent and inclusive language would be... There you go, Mark Spivey. Go copulate with yourself. And don't forget to kiss my derriere upon your exit. So this is not the worst of them that are out there. I've found a couple that are way worse. I don't even know exactly where some of them came from, but they literally talk in one hand about not using trigger words, and then the word trigger itself is a word that you shouldn't use. So in their own documents saying don't use these words, they're using the words because it's what they're called. They're called trigger words. Trigger warning. There's a trigger warning here. Number one, it's 2021. Everything is a fucking trigger warning. So, trigger warning, I'm going to say shit that's going to piss people off. It is what it is. But I will say this one isn't the worst, but it did offer me some of the biggest laughs. So, just so you know, you cannot say beats me. You should just say, I don't know. Shoot me an email is send me an email. You definitely can't punch the old time clock anymore because, you should just clock in. Press the enter key. Press the enter key as opposed to hit enter or hit the enter key. She's got a killer smile. That's not acceptable anymore. She might think you're calling her Jeffrey Dahmer or something, guys. But yeah, here you go. As the wife said, hi, guys, should be hi, everyone, because you just can't assume anymore. You should set a goal, not set a target. I prefer to set targets, damn it. Goals just seem like they don't exist. A target I can see, right? You're aiming for something. Probably another trigger warning in there, too. Don't aim for that. Don't be gun shy either. Can't be gun shy. You're just apprehensive. And then obviously, there's the if looks could kill, blown away, that could blow up in your face. This could also, blown away or blow up in your face is probably something that you could probably not say at an airport nowadays because everybody's so fucking up in arms about stuff. I don't know. Probably shouldn't go up in arms either, but so Armaments and Axis stopping in. Hey, Mario's in here saying trigger this. Yeah, it's absolutely horrendous what's coming down the pipe, and to believe it or not, some of this is actually in legislation. They have this in some places. Specifically, Canada already has it, and as we learned from HB 127, they are willing to go outside of America to determine what policy should look like. So they just pick, choose, copy, and paste, and that's what you end up with. So I do want to bring up a little inclusive language segment here. These people are absolutely baller when it comes to some of the stuff that they're actually trying to get done. So this is from a bachelor's degree program in liberal studies and a guide to using inclusive language. But this is actually from rider.edu. I don't know if they're any good at all, but this said some of the best definition of what's going on here. So inclusive language is defined as language that avoids the use of certain expressions or words that might be considered to exclude particular groups of people. Any person or group can be excluded with language, but typically this term is used for traditional underrepresented or underprivileged groups, such as racial or ethnic minorities or members of the LGBTQ community. Further, inclusive language is used in order to avoid offending or demeaning people based on stereotypes or personal perceptions. Using inclusive language shows that you're aware of and value the different perspectives, identities, and ideas that other individuals bring to the table. I'm going to stop right there. So, I personally, if I don't use language that dumbs things down for you, and I don't use language that is politically correct, it's not because I don't respect you as a person. It's because I respect you enough as a person to think that you can handle a conversation with an adult. That's really the only that's the thing. Like, I see this a lot. It's going to kind of switch gears a little bit here. I see this whole thing a lot of traditionally underrepresented or underprivileged groups. AWG says, I'm lower middle class. I feel less privileged paying taxes. I think we all do, especially upper middle class. I pay a lot of fucking taxes, damn it. I wouldn't consider myself upper middle class either, but some people do, and mostly the government. I'm pretty lowbrow, but I have been seeing this a lot more lately, and I'm sure everybody else has. The traditionally underrepresented or underprivileged groups, such as racial or ethnic minorities or members of the LGBTQ community. We literally have a country right now that is so racist that they don't even see they're racist. And it's the people that are calling out racism that are the racists. It's absolutely ridiculous. Look at what's going on with the vaccine programs. So you literally have people coming out right now and talking about how we need to do more to get the vaccine out to these Black and Hispanic communities. We need to help these people get the vaccine. Like, they're not capable of getting it on their own. Like, if you want it, fine. I'm not going to demean you for it. But why should I go out of my way to make it easier for you to get it simply because of the color of your skin? That's racist. That's 100% fucking racist. I mean, and if you're a Black individual or a Hispanic individual watching my program tonight or anytime, I want you to comment on this in the chat below. Are you sick and tired of people fucking looking down on you? like you're some stupid person? Because I'm sick of seeing it. Like, I don't care what color skin you are. We all bleed the same. Like, the fact of the matter is that we're all just as smart as we want to be. We're all intelligent as we want to be. And these fucking people out here are literally like placating to, like, they're out here saying we're better than people because we're trying to prevent racism. We're trying to prevent it. We're trying to get rid of racism in America. But we need to do things to help the black people because they're not smart enough. Because they don't have the means. Now, I could understand. I could understand certain communities that may need help getting the vaccine because pharmacies don't exist outside of CVS or Walgreens. And let's face it, some of you motherfuckers burnt down your CVS and your fucking Walgreens. So you may not have local access to a fucking pharmacy right now. But that's not everybody in that community either. And everybody in that community is being demeaned by these people who are saying it's fucking time that we do something to make it easier for these people of color, because that's the proper terminology now, person of color, to become vaccinated or to get a good education or to do this or to do that. Like, when did we become a nation where we honestly have to make things easier for certain races? Like, I just, and I'm sorry, I don't get it. I'll go to the chat here for a second. No American alive today is directly responsible for slavery that happened well before they were born. Carcane, absolutely. And if you erase history, you're doomed to repeat it. 100%. Like that, there's nothing that we can do to stop it if we erase the history. The fact of the matter is that all these people are trying to get rid of information that empowers the people. You get rid of history, you get rid of those things, you get rid of the intelligence, you get rid of the intelligence amongst the people, then the people are below you. If you know more, knowledge is power, 100%. And if anybody argues that they're on the lower end of the knowledge spectrum, knowledge 100% is power. And if you take the knowledge away from the people, you take the power away from the people. That is exactly what is going on. Yeah. Operator Tony says, don't call 911 and say person of color, though. They will ask more questions to get you to say, insert race here, man, woman. They do. And they have every right to. 100% they have every right to. If I'm that person on the 911 call, well, I was just attacked. But I was attacked by a person of color. I can't give you a better description than that because otherwise you're going to racially profile them, is exactly what they're saying when they say person of color on a 911 call. Fuck that. I was mugged by a white dude. I was mugged by a Mexican. I was mugged by a Hispanic person. Okay, I'll even say I was mugged. Maybe saying I was mugged by a Mexican is bad unless you know they were Mexican. In my particular area, pretty much if you got mugged by a Hispanic person, you got mugged by a Mexican. That may sound racist, but we have a high population of Mexican Americans in this area. Like, to me, to say specifically Hispanic doesn't make sense. Now, if I lived in Miami, where you have Cubans, you have Haitians, you have Guatemalans, Mexicans, Cubans, it's all over the place down there. So to say anything other than Hispanic is probably bad. But yeah, it is what it is. I've been called racist more in the last 3 years than I think I've ever been called racist in my entire life. And the funny part is it's always by like a 42 to 45-year-old white woman with a Karen haircut who's wanting to speak to the manager. So it doesn't hold any weight to me. Let's go to the chat here a second. Looks like Armaments and Axis says knowledge comes, but wisdom lingers. 100%. You can learn anything. You can gain knowledge. The wisdom is what sticks around, and that's why you talk to your elders. You talk to people who are older than you, who know better. They have the wisdom because knowledge is just a portion of it. Wisdom is putting action behind the intelligence. So I appreciate that comment there. AWG saying, if you stand for nothing, you will fall for everything. 100%. But sometimes standing for the wrong thing means you fell for everything too. So it is a double-edged sword that you ride if you want to stand for something, because you're going to stand on a side that may potentially be wrong. So you have to be convicted in your beliefs and make sure that things actually align with what you believe. So, sorry. But yeah, Mario Mechanic Molina says, just say a brown looking motherfucker just robbed me. Um, well, I could say that, but then I'm including Habib, who runs the gas station down the road, and that's not a joke. His name is Habib. I've talked to him. I'm also including, the other Indian people in the area. I'm including anybody who has a darker complexion. I know plenty of white people who work construction who, in the middle of summer, they look no bullshit like they're Hispanic. So, I'm not going to say Hispanic, Mexican, or anything like that unless I have confirmation. So when dude comes up behind me and said, "Yeah, yo, Holmes, give me your fucking garage keys, give me your fucking wallet, give me your everything," I'm going to use the language as a partial, way of identification. Yes, every individual color of person, every race, creed, religion, everything has their own tonality to their voice. You can determine where somebody's from by exactly how they sound. So, it is exactly what it is. Like, it may sound like you're profiling because, oh my God, people from Africa, like, there are white people who live in Africa and they have the same accents. No, they have similar accents, but their accents are all very different. If you go from southern Wisconsin to midwestern Wisconsin to northern Wisconsin, everybody's accents, verbiage, tonality, grammar, actual use of words are completely different. And it's the same for many places. South Texas versus North Texas versus the Bible Belt of Texas versus, God, there's like 16, 17 different regions of Texas. All of them have their own twang. They all have their own, tonality. So if you travel enough, you learn that, and you can very easily find out what or where somebody's from based on how they sound. So Armaments and Axis says, cough, it's COVID. LOL. Nobody has the flu. It's all COVID. Yeah, I just had a tickle in my throat, and I just left myself open to whatever you guys want to say. That's fine. But I did have a cough, yes. Probably not COVID, though. I actually had it, I believe. I still can't smell, so I believe. So I'm actually better off than anybody who got the vaccine. I'll get a fact check thing on the bottom now. No. If you had COVID, you still should get the vaccine because now you just only need one shot of the 2-rounder. Okay, you just need a booster. Yeah, that's all you need. Absolutely ridiculous, the stuff that these people come up with. But I'm not here to talk about COVID because that's been talked about everywhere in all the places, and yeah. Very interesting, some of the shit that's coming out of the CDC these days. That's all I'm going to say on that. I'll go back into this a little bit. So, first-person language, person-first language, not even first-person language. A huge component of inclusive language for people with disabilities. This I actually agree with. A person is not their disability. They are not identified by their disability, but I also don't think they're a bunch of pansies. Oh my God, you're a blind person. No, you're a person who is blind is what they want you to say. So person first. Instead of saying blind person, you say person who's blind. I kind of agree with that, but at the same time, like, let people talk. Who gives a shit? We live in a country that has become so fucking pansy, it's not even funny. We just literally push this shit. This is the best that our colleges are putting out right now. talking about implicit bias affecting inclusive language. Everybody has implicit bias. Yes, I'm not denying that. However, you can't get rid of it. It's implicit. It's trained into you. But they only ever talk about it as white candidates were significantly more likely to be chosen for interviews because, they're white individuals applying for jobs. Let's talk about applying for jobs. Okay, so why do white people get selected for jobs more often than black individuals? Statistically, more white people apply for jobs in specific fields. So if you take like these candidate programs that they've tested in these studies, I've looked at some of these studies, and this is why they always only ever say one study found that when black and white individuals set out similar resumes to employers, white candidates were significantly more likely to be chosen for the interviews. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Like, interviewing people and looking at resumes is not a science. Okay? Like, the hiring managers are under an unscrupulous amount of pressure to bring in the right person for a job. Well, when you're looking at a piece of paper, Tommy here, his resume says that he's got 3 to 5 years of experience with this place, and that place. Okay, Johnny says this. John says that. Donnie says this. Tim says that. They're all pieces of paper. There's no real way to get yourself noticed in a hiring process other than to make your resume completely stand out. Make it be the resume that caught their eye, because otherwise they're just looking at paper. It's like reading an article or reading a book. If you're not very interested in the book or you're not very interested in the article, you lose track of where you were. You lose your place. You lose your spot. And you do that because it doesn't interest you. None of the applications interest a person. So statistically, because more white individuals apply for a job in a specific field, they more often than not are selected for interviews more often. This is the same no matter what industry you're looking at. Now, if you're going to go and look at jobs that are traditionally located in black neighborhoods, let's go 15 years ago, Detroit, Michigan. Most of the factories were traditionally worked by Hispanics or black individuals. There weren't a lot of white folk working at the like stamping plants, stuff like that. Most of the white people were working in the city or someplace else doing something different. And that's not saying that it was racial or anything like that. It was just that the factories were in neighborhoods that were predominantly black and Hispanic. So when a person put an application in there, I'll guarantee you, if I pull that study and I take that fucking organization and say, I want to look at all the applications you received, and I'm going to determine who was white and who was black, and I'm going to look at the ratio of black interviews to white interviews. I'll guarantee you there were more black and Hispanic interviews than white interviews if the ratio is more people applying that are black than Hispanic or white. It makes sense. But the problem with all these studies is that they always just do the bare minimum. Like, well, this study said 100 people applied. 60% of them were white people, 30% of them were black people, 10% of them were Hispanic people, and undetermined amount may have had a different, ethnicity checked on the box. The reality is, 70% of the interviews were from white people. 30% of the interviews were black people. And 10% of the interviews, they hired every single fucking person or did an interview on every single person that put an application in, right? But still, it looks like more white people got interviewed than black people, even if they interviewed 100% of the applicants. That's the thing is nobody ever breaks it down to that level. They just say, well, of all these people, there were just more white people that were interviewed. Yeah, because you were hiring people in the middle of fucking Nebraska, okay? Just saying. Like, you're going to get more white people applying for the job in the middle of Nebraska. Like, it's just the way it is. So, check out the chat here for a second. Let's see. Gonna go back. Interesting. Yeah. Racist is harmful language. The inclusive term is melanin supremacy. Melanin supremacist. Yeah. Yeah. it whatever, man. You can call it whatever you want to call it. It's bullshit. That's the thing. Like, yeah, you guys have noticed. I'm sure everybody's noticed the majority of it, the racism, claws, all that shit. They're coming from angry, unsexed white women. It really is. I'm sorry to say it that way, but it's the white women who are barely able to walk, might have a walker, half their heads shaved. They probably haven't bathed in 3 to 4 weeks, and they're calling us racist because, whatever. It's a joke. Yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know where to go from there. But we'll come back in a little bit here. So these are the types of training that are recommended nowadays. Counter stereotype training, implicit bias workshops, negation training, which is interesting here, and perspective taking training. So negation training is a method to aim to reduce and prevent stereotyping from occurring in the first place by denying information that reinforces stereotypes themselves. However, further research indicates that negation training may not be as effective as reducing bias as other methods. Okay, so they literally are saying on an application for individuals of color that you may have a better opportunity. And this is, in my personal opinion, if you're a hiring manager, I would love to hear opinion on this, but there are people who say that applications and resumes should not include a person's name, because a person's name can give clues as to where a person is from or what color a person is, obviously, right? So if you get Alejandro or a Jesus applying for a job, you're going to kind of assume that they're Hispanic, right? If you get a Bill or a Bob applying for a job, you're going to assume they're white. And the same goes for if you get a Jamal or a Jerome or whatever applying for a job, a black sounding name, you're going to assume they're black because this is bias, right? I understand the concept, but the fact of the matter is who the fuck are you contacting about the job? Hi, I have an application sitting on my desk in front of me that it's for a position of X. I don't know your name, but I was considering bringing you in for an interview. Would that be something that you're interested in? Oh, I didn't apply for a job. Oh, I'm sorry. Did anybody you know apply for the job? Not that I'm aware of. All right, thank you. How's that going to help you get the job? I'm completely confused here. Counter stereotyping training. A method involves taking common stereotypes and presenting people with something that contradicts, invalidates, or disproves that stereotype. Basically saying, if I can prove one time that it doesn't make sense, that stereotype isn't real, then you have to get rid of it because you're whatever. Totally bullshit. The fact of the matter is stereotypes work because they're true for the most part. It's not for everybody, but there's white stereotypes too. There's hillbilly stereotypes. There's redneck stereotypes. And for the people that are associated with them, guess what? Yeah, they may be a stereotype, but it doesn't really bug most of us. Negative stereotypes are negative stereotypes. They're used as a method to not be like that person because that person is seen as bad. So it really is just a ridiculous situation when you think about it. Like, just whatever. Implicit bias workshops. I'm not even going to go into that. and then perspective taking training. Um, this is legitimately saying, walk a mile in my shoes. Just walk a mile in my shoes, and then you'll understand, folks. Fosters empathy for minorities and other groups by having people look at things from someone else's point of view, because really that works, right? You know what? What you should really do is you should go spend time in the barrio, which, by the way, if I'm right, this may be on here. Barrio, no, not on this one. Oh, that was on a different one. You shouldn't say the term barrio either, because that in terms that term is a Hispanic ghetto. You should also not say ghetto. You should try to use the language that actually, or the neighborhood that you're actually referring to. So next time I see some chick and I think she looked ghetto, I'm gonna say, wow, that chick totally looked 35th of elite. Or did you see the Martin Luther King Drive girl down there? Yeah. Because that makes a lot of sense. No, that was ghetto. Did you see that ghetto looking bitch over there? Jesus Christ. You know, cornrows, 13-inch fucking fingernails. Yeah, I saw her. Anyways, ageism, classism, disabilities, gender and sexual orientation. I'm not even gonna fucking go there. Power-based impersonal violence. Accused, alleged, or claimed, admitted or confessed, dispute, lover's quarrel, or love triangle. Yeah, you should. It's absolutely ridiculous. Those are all terms that you should avoid. So you should avoid saying that somebody confessed or admitted to something. You shouldn't talk about victims, even though you can't victim blame, right? You can't say the term victim. They're a survivor. Instead of being accused, alleged, or claimed, you experienced, said, or shared. Absolute fucking joke. Horse shit. That's all I'm going to say about that. Ethnicity. Yeah. Any kind of racial or ethnic slur, you should be avoiding that. I agree. You know, you probably shouldn't use racial or ethnic slurs. But, you know, Arabs, Caucasian, Orientals, and other outdated terms should not be used. We're international people, damn it. People are a person of color. Remember, people first, though. They're not a colored person, they're a person of color. That's the person first mentality. You can't say somebody's mixed race or mulatto. I thought mulatto was like the term they wanted to use for a long time. For somebody who was half black, half white. Mixed race, mulatto. It was the sexy term. Whatever. You know, this is something that I could go down. They even actually talk about religion, which is funny. But here's the thing: you should not talk about AD or BC when labeling years. What? That's how we label the fucking years, man. Sorry that the way we use words. I was completely thrown by this. So, Anno Domino and before Christ. That's what we've always used. They're actually saying we should be using Common Era and before Common Era. What the fuck is Common Era? Apparently it's AD. So we're in 2010. We're in 2021 CE now, folks. It is CE. Don't worry, the Romans existed. It was all fun and games back then. But you know, back before the era of Common, we had the before Common Era. Yeah, whatever. This stuff is so ridiculous. I don't even know where to go sometimes with it. Anyways, yeah, size. I'll touch on this one too a little bit. I get to say this because I am a fatty, obese, overweight pig or piggy. Oh, wait. Those are things that I shouldn't say. Fuck. Damn it. Shit. Fuck. Oh. Here, I'll get to the other dot points real quick. More inclusive terms would be to say that they are fat as an adjective with no negative connotations. Wow. Hey, you're fat. I don't mean that negatively, though. It's all good. I like you're fat. You're larger bodied. A person of size. That's my favorite. A person of size. Wow, you're a person of size, aren't you? Because that's better than saying, dude, you are fucking huge. And then there's plus size. Plus size has been used forever. I mean, I'm not mad at plus size. They have plus size stores, so that's probably why it's included in here. You know, there was a lobby of heavier set individuals because that's not in here anymore. You can't say heavy set either. They're obese. We are. Fuck. Half of America is obese. More than half of America is obese. Based on medical standards, I don't agree with where the line is, but whatever. We're all fucking obese. We eat for shit and expect to not be obese. So unless you're actually in the gym or controlling your diet better than 90% of America, you're obese. Sorry. And I'm not sorry about that. But at least you're not a larger bodied individual. So, to jump back to the chat here real quick, see what's going on with you guys over here. Yeah, the anti-Christian stuff really grinds my gears, says Carcane. Like, is it offensive to be specific? It really is. Yeah. As my wife said in the chat, I'm Daddy Pig. You know, my daughter watches Peppa Pig, so I'm Daddy Pig, and I'm like, whatever. I'm perfectly fine with that. But yeah, Carcane, the anti-Christian stuff, it drives me absolutely nuts too. It's like, is it really that bad? Like, you don't have to agree with it. It's just a way of measuring something. Like, every single person, nobody's complaining about the use of the inch or the use of the metric system or whatever. The metric system isn't a problem, right? So we should all be using the metric system. Personally, it's fucking easier than imperial, and it doesn't use the measurement of a king's foot or a king's hand to determine size. We don't have a king. Why the fuck we using his measurements? So, just saying, like, I believe Franklin Delano Roosevelt made the metric system the United States unit of measure. That's just how far behind and how poor us engineers are at changing. We don't like to change who we are, what we do, or anything like that. So we're just lazy. And just like everybody else, nobody likes change. Hate Monger, that's a new name. Haven't seen you in the chat before, but call them what they are, mutts. That's kind of shitty. But they are mixed. Like, I get it. Like, I wouldn't call them a mutt. I wouldn't call any person a mutt. But the fact of the matter, all speech is hate speech, as someone can hate anything said on any particular subject or matter. Therefore, no speech should ever be banned. Yeah, I'm not a huge Tom McDonald fan, but he had a song recently that he literally said, it was a pretty big song, whatever, but where there's a difference between hate speech and speech that you hate, which is 100% true. I know he's not the first person to coin that term either, but the fact of the matter is, just because you hate it doesn't mean it's hate speech. Hate speech actually violates somebody else's freedoms. Like, it is a actionable use of words that could or can or will cause violence toward a person with, particular rhetoric. So, absolutely ridiculous. So Armaments and Axis a while ago said, conservatives react to facts, liberals react to emotions to sway the sheeple. Yeah, I agree with that. Conservatives react to facts, liberals react to emotions. the thing is it comes back down to the whole removing education from people. So, um, like, legitimate points of view are not swayed by emotion. And if you take away the education, all you have is emotion. So if you get rid of the facts, if you get rid of facts, all you're left with are opinion. And the problem with opinion is everybody has them. They're like assholes. Everybody has them, and they're all full of shit. So, you're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. I don't have to agree with you. You don't have to agree with me. And at the end of the day, that's part of what makes this country great. We are allowed to believe what we want to believe. We are 100% being attacked for it, but that's ridiculous. Chamber of Defense says the orthopedic office I work for part-time is employing this bullshit. The hospital hasn't so far, but I'm waiting on it. I'm an American, and I will treat you with respect if you treat me with respect. 100%. I only said that because I've seen a lot and a majority of hospital environments have enacted this nonviolent, inclusive language bullshit, and I I assumed that it was coming down the pipe down by you guys too. Most of the hospital organizations are run by a larger outfit that basically runs everything in the country anyways. So, all right. Yeah, another commie tactic to weaken our nation, eliminating Jesus and God from everything. Yeah, it really does. Like, if you take away the things that people have to believe in, then you take away a portion of the person, and you're breaking them down one by one. So it really is. It's about demeaning your enemy, essentially. It's about breaking them down to a point where they don't want to fight. So if there's no purpose, if there's no point, nobody will fight. And right now we need to fight. 100% we need to fight. I'm not saying violently, but we need to get out and we need to do our due diligence. We're not good at civics anymore in this country. We're not educated. I say that as I'm not educated too. I make the same mistakes each and every one of you probably do. If you don't make any of the mistakes that I'm about to list off, kudos to you, but I'm sure you make your own. Fact of the matter is most of us don't spend enough time hitting the pavement and asking our representatives what they really stand for. We don't go out there and just point blank ask them the question. Like, yeah, they campaigned on this, but point blank, have you gone to their office and said, look, where do you stand on this? And don't let them leave until they give you an answer. They work for you. They are not our leaders. They work for you. So if you ask them a question, they have to answer it. It may not be right then and there, but you don't let them get away with it. Like, we hold people accountable. We need to start doing that. Like, if you went in on something and, you know, if you got into office based on one thing and you don't do anything with it the entire time you're in office, you're not being held accountable. And people reelect you, that's even worse. Like, no offense, and a lot of people like her, but if Lauren Boebert doesn't do something to help the 2A community while she's in fucking government, get her the fuck out. Nancy Pelosi, all these career politicians need to have been gone a long time ago. Let's see. Yeah. My wife said, because she's in a hospital setting too, and she works in a hospice. So, she said that I'm pretty sure that dying veterans aren't going to give a shit if I say bullet point or this or that while I'm working with them. So I'm just going to talk how I want to talk. And I respect that. So it's the truth. Carcane says, gotta just say happy holidays instead of Kwanzaa or Hanukkah. Nope, just Christmas. All right. I mean, when I say Merry Christmas, I'm not trying to exclude anybody. I'm literally saying, hey, you know what? Merry Christmas. It's the Christmas season for me. I know it's probably a holiday season for you too. And I'm saying just be the best you can. Have the best time you can. Enjoy the time with your family. That's it. It doesn't mean that I'm saying, hey, it's Christmas. We're celebrating the birth of Christ, and you should too. I'm not going to be that person. Like, you have your own choice. Um, and yeah. Operator Tony says, hey, no offense, you fat. Yeah, I'm fat. I get it. It's all right. No offense. No offense taken. I know it. I got to fix it. But yeah, back to the Christmas thing. I'm not going to push religion on anybody. I don't have any reason to push religion on anybody because either you are into it or you're not into it. And I'm not going to push what I believe on anybody else. Even my kids. I'm not forcing my kids to follow my belief. I'm going to teach them my belief. I'm going to teach them other beliefs. And I'm going to let them make a choice on their own. So that's how I chose to do things because it's how my parents chose to do things for me. And I've made some mistakes along the way, but I think I've turned out pretty well. And, I think my kids will do just as good too. So Dr. Cat Milk stopping in saying, how's the night going? It's going, guys. So appreciate you stopping by, Cat Milk. And, we're just having some fun hanging out now. So, the other thing, like, I just don't get it. Like, we've become so soft as a nation. When did we become so soft? I know there's been an attack on boys and men since way back in the day. So, I believe James Dean started it, actually. Rebel Without a Cause. That whole movie was propaganda against the male persona. And it started with his father. That whole movie, tell me how I'm supposed to act, Dad. How am I supposed to be a man? That question was never answered through the entire thing. And his dad was as effeminate as can be. And for that time, that was pushing the envelope. But they were literally starting it back then, an attack on manhood. And from there forward, you can see things working, people getting softer. I don't know. Oh, shit. Mario Mechanic Molina in the chat says, is that a shovel in your back pocket? Because I'm digging that ass. That would work on me, Mario. That would actually work on me. I would buy you Whataburger. So, just because it made me laugh. So, appreciate that. Man, what was I saying? Yeah. Oh, yeah, being soft. We just got to not be so soft. It's fucking ridiculous what's going on right now in this country. And it all comes down to just soft pussies running around. Yeah, Mario with the kissy face. We've just gotten so soft. I don't even know how else to describe it. A bunch of boys running around in skinny jeans, pretending they have vaginas and wearing pink hats because I support feminine rights. And you know what? I support feminine rights too. I think it's pretty demeaning to women to run around in a pussy hat saying, your body, your choice. You have a sacred life that you can bring into this world through your womb. Don't waste it. So I'm not going to get into that argument. But I will say I'm going to cut the show for the night, 9:30, about an hour. I want to be a little bit more on time with them when I'm doing these myself. Daddy Lanch saying everyone gets a participation trophy. Yeah, fuck participation trophies. You don't earn it, you don't get it, and that's how my kids are going to be raised too. I'm going to teach them to throw that shit away if they ever get it. It's absolutely ridiculous. The participation trophies. We're just raising a bunch of mediocre people, mediocre kids, mediocre sports players, mediocre life achievers. It's actually been really interesting if you break down psychologically what's happened. They're doing and getting exactly what they want. The government is, because they are literally making a army of weak-minded, feeble individuals who the first time things get rough, they're going to shut down and go back to the way things were because they were better. And now they're paying them. They're paying them pretty well for the most part throughout this whole coof situation. People on unemployment have been getting more money than most of the people who are actually working. So hashtag fucking ridiculous on that one. But we're basically creating universal basic income through stimulus package, and people aren't going to want to go back to work. Number one, they're not going to want to. Number two, they're basically going to be unemployable because for a year and a half they've not had to answer to anybody other than themselves. So that and their government daddy that they had to slap on the ass every Monday morning to get their paycheck every week. But on that note, I would like to say a fine thank you to anybody and everybody who stopped by tonight. Give me some feedback on the stream. The overlay, what you like, what you don't like. I'm gonna play with some things. I've got some stuff coming down. I just want to keep it a little bit simple, not overdo it, and at the end of the day, just have a good time with individuals that are willing to come in here and hang out with us. So I respect you guys' time. I respect each and every one of you for coming in and spending some time with us. And at the end of the night, I wouldn't do it if it wasn't for you guys anyways. So remember, next week we do have Mickey from Carry Trainer coming on. Should be a really good show. Really interested in talking to him about some of his beliefs and systems. Coming from somebody who's in the 2A community, obviously, as an instructor who does a lot more medical than just gun training, but does some really good gun training as well, but also as an individual who's coming from the political spectrum, who's done all that stuff. So I think it's going to be a really good show next week. If you haven't already, head down to the description, join our Discord. If you have any questions for Mickey or for me or anything throughout the week, you can get them put in there, and then I'll have those ready to go for next week if you guys got anything for that. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time next Friday. Remember, Boog brand stuff is still available. It's no longer being done by me or my suppliers. It's being done by Spring, formerly Teespring. You can get some of the better stuff or the more popular stuff over there. Store.tacticalpineapple.com. I'm not trying to make a bunch of money on it, just trying to have some fun with you guys. Still offer some of the stuff that everybody did enjoy. And the best part is price on t-shirts is $17.76. So can't complain too much about the price, right? Chamber Defense saying keep up the good work. Lag Demon saying Nightman. Dr. Cantmilk saying looks good. Yeah. Hate Monger saying we lost the Cold War. We absolutely lost the Cold War. Especially if you listen to certain individuals who were involved with the Cold War. Their tactics kept working long afterwards. So to everybody who's here yet, everybody's hanging out. Mario saying cheers. I will say I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay warm. Most of y'all are still in cold temperatures pretty much everywhere in fucking America unless you're in Florida right now. So drop it like it's Scott. Yeah. Hate Monger says pineapple needs a bigger doobie on the overlay. Hey, but its head hasn't gone down. It's the everlasting doobie. Doesn't need to be big when it doesn't go away. So again, like I said, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you guys all stopping by. And on that note, I will end it tonight. But stay safe, stay warm, and always, always, always order pineapple on your pizza, folks.